Mm. That was weird. What is up, everybody? Sorry about that. The Twitch stream got, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened over there. What up, Truth, man? What's up? We was over on Twitch, man, but some kind of, I don't know, something happened. Something weird was going on over there. So I had to start another stream to get this conversation finished, man. Oh my god, I don't even know what music I was playing. Oh, that's right. I can't play music over here the same. Oh, this is horrible. Ah, god dang it. But that wasn't licensed music, so I just gotta find the song. Perfect. Man, I don't even know how to email Twitch. I'll look for it. That was crazy. But it stopped at 1.1K. It stopped at 1.1K. That was wild, boy. That was weird. That was weird. That was weird. It was a glitch in Twitch. Hey, you say it's cool? Hey, listen. I ain't even really tripping. Because it's not like, yeah, that was weird. Nah. I don't keep enough people in my live streams to be partnered. Yeah, maybe I did. Maybe we needed to have this convo over here today. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know what the purpose was of that. That was weird. All them bots came raining in. That was weird. But it's been building up. Okay, like we talked about that. I went ahead and named this Toxic Tuesday because the energy's been weird. Like, the energy's been so weird. The energy has been so weird. Okay, so we had the one conversation where the dude was talking about jumping. We had the jumper. And then the next day we had the dude to say he was in the hospital stabbed. And then we had the dude that came in there talking about big balls. Like, it was already weird. It was already a weird energy over there, man. It was going crazy. Then the day it's like spammy mix. That was weird. I don't know. But if the Twitch channel does get shut down for whatever that raid thing was, man, I'll start over. Oh, no, I know it. Yeah, man, it was weird, man. We was over on Twitch and like 1,000 people came into the chat, like to add a follow, like the free follow. But it was like bots. It was all bots. So I'm thinking it's going to like get the channel shut down or struck or something. I don't know what's going to happen, man. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. I ain't even really going to trip. I'll worry about that another time. But y'all, yeah, we were having a conversation. I forgot what the last point was in the chat. But I know a lot of people are. I know we was talking about the men. Okay, the men. Yeah, the men are having a lot of conversations about the women and not taking accountability. I mean, they're not taking responsibility for their own decisions. And our decisions are creating. Our decisions are creating the outcomes that we're having. What's up, Marcus? What's up, man? I got pushed off of Twitch by some weird stuff, man. So thank y'all for coming through. Marcus, Truth. Yeah, got pushed off of Twitch today. I don't know what that was. That was so weird. Hanifa. Yep. Sim Summit. Yeah, I was live over on Twitch. I've been going live over on Twitch at noon. Dorian, thank you, man. Thank you for following over, man. Glad you were able to come over. I was live over on Twitch, and then like a whole bunch of bots came in, and I don't know if they're gonna shut down the channel, but I went from like 100 followers to over 1,000 in like 2 minutes. So it's like, yo, I know I missed the emotes. No emotes. That's the one thing about Twitch, man. I love my emotes. Yes, both vice versa. Men on women not taking accountability, and women are not taking accountability is what I hear in these. Yeah, and that's what we were talking about, kind of, because in my Discord, Inya had shared a thing where this guy had killed the mother of his children, and a lot of decisions that laid up to that, like he had been on protection orders. And you keep having children with them, so there's accountability on both sides. The man, I just reported you for fraud. Oh, that's you dirty. That's okay. I'm gonna report you back. There are decisions that we make as men and women that lead to the outcomes in our life. And like I was saying over there, like, yes, a lot of the things that are around us in our environment help influence that, but there's a certain point where you have to start taking responsibility for your outcomes. And I was giving the example of how people in my area, like I'm from Ohio, and they'll be like, man, I hate Ohio. I hate Ohio. Well, you're free to leave. Like, you're free to move on. Like, your choices are keeping you here. When are we going to start making different choices? That's the conversation we have to have. We were having tough talk over there, but we got bots instead. That was kind of weird, man. That was weird. Makes me think it was one of the people I talked to this week. Either the guy that was talking about the big balls, or the guy that was talking about he got stabbed and was in the hospital, or the jumper. I got a feeling it was one of them. Or that Stargazer guy. Because Bree did not like that Stargazer guy. Yeah, buddy. That was just so weird. I just came because I heard people call you a dime. Yeah? Yes. Let me see. Where's that at? Hit that real quick.
Well, Oshawa is a dime.
I'm looking for a dime. That's top of the line.
Yeah, man. It happens, man. It happens. At least every other day or so, somebody's calling me a dime. Or like, if you weren't on Twitch, it was the weirdest thing. The dude came in the chat talking about, you must have big balls. And I'm like, but yeah, it was funny. And y'all ended up timing him out. People just constantly look for external. Yes, we externalize a lot of the problems. We externalize a lot of the issues that we're facing. It's somebody else's fault. Even when we talked about politics, on the Ism show, on Quiet Breeze channel, we were talking about the Ism show, and her brother and AR got into an exchange, and politics came up. And of course, AR is going to blame the Democrats. You know, there's this person, that person, Democrats, baby mamas, and the devil. You know, that's AR's thing. But it's easy to blame other people, but there's a part that we're all playing in the outcomes. An action or an inaction that is creating almost everything. And it's a group effort. It's a collaborative effort. Every choice that all of us are making is creating the outcomes that we have. Education can help a lot of these dudes not sound like idiots on lives. I mean, that would help. But also, like we talked about, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence would help a lot, because then you'd be able to see, like, it doesn't serve anybody to place a lot of blame on somebody. It's actually going to cause more friction, more discord. That divisiveness that we lean into a lot of times. And that's what I was talking about. I was talking about being a utilitarian. What's useful? It's not useful to continue demonizing somebody else. Unless you just want to harm them. Unless your intent is to harm them in their life. That there's no usefulness to the constant, the spewing of almost, they'll say it's not hatred. They'll say it's not hatred, but if you spend every day, every other day, several days a week talking about a specific group in a negative way, there's a lot of passion you have about their problems. And their problem typically isn't your problem, so why are you making it so? Dorian, you have the answers. Yeah, hair sniffing. Hey, man, respect to you too, Marcus, man. I ain't seen you in a minute. You're not real West. And that's what I was talking about too, Bree. How would people know? How do people know that? How do people know that they're not, like, people that don't get it, don't get that they don't get it. People are not self-aware. You can't really gauge your level unless you put it up against other people. And then when it's a space of opinions, well, everybody's opinion is just as valid as everybody else's, because it doesn't have to be grounded or rooted in anything. So, I mean, that's the real problem. It's not like journalism. It's not like, this isn't journalism. This is just an opinion space. This is for the talking heads. Mezzo's crazy. She did. That's right. She was away. Oh, she doesn't know. Oh, shoot. Poor Mezzo. Let me send her the link real quick. She is what? Mezzo is crazy. Give me a second. I gotta get this. Might hear some double. Cool. All right, got that done. Ooh. But see, that's a debate. Here's the thing. See, Bree, come on. No intelligence is drawn from in any realm. That's not true. Would you jump in a Jordan Peterson philosophy debate about Nietzsche? No, I wouldn't jump into a debate, but that's a structured thing. That actually has an outcome that they're looking for, like people that are knowledgeable about a thing to talk about it. That's not what we do here on YouTube and a lot of times on Twitch. It's people that are just having a conversation. And when it comes to a conversation, everybody's qualified that can vocate, that can get voice to emit from their mouth. So yeah, so we can't police just people being able to have a discussion. Yeah, we can't police being able to have a discussion. Now, I would have a discussion. With them. Absolutely. I don't know a lot about Nietzsche, but I know I can grasp the concepts. And I may not be able to. That's the thing. Even I can delude myself. No matter how smart you are, you can fall into delusion. Now, would I drag him? See, now that's a personality trait. That's a personality quirk. That's a flaw. That's somebody who doesn't know, or maybe not know, but they don't know what they don't know. I've had that happen to me, honestly, where I know like a term for something, like something that's in a dictionary, something that can be proved. And people are calling me stupid for saying like, oh, you sound crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, when that happens, I'm like, well, there's Mezzo. This is your first live chat experience in Twitch. You mean in YouTube? But when that happens, I know like I gotta let that go. I gotta eat that one and just walk away, because if you're so like ignorant to this specific realm of knowledge that you think I'm crazy, I gotta walk away. You wish you know how that felt. Where is Tristan? I know. Mr. Draper. Yeah. What you don't know won't show. Yeah, man. So yeah, I appreciate y'all following over so we can continue the conversation. But you know, it's Tough Talk Tuesday and we tapping in, man. How's everybody doing? How is everybody? How is everyone feeling? How's everyone doing? What's going on in your life, man? I know Bree was, you know, a little rage monstery. Got that rage going. And y'all's confused. Bree's confused. How's Mezzo? How's Dorian, man? What's going on with y'all? What's up with STG in the building? How's STG rolling through these streets, man? How y'all doing today? And Cherie, she was on lunch with them oxtails. Yeah, but we have to talk about how our decisions are creating our conditions. We really need to spend more time on that, because we always look at the outcomes and then get confused. We look at the outcomes and want to want to look back and blame somebody. The manosphere is a easy punching bag for me. So it's like they'll talk about, you know, how women kick the black man out of the home, or they'll talk about this, that. There's so many things that they'll point to as the problem. In the past, especially. Oh my God, all the problems are in the past. But right now, today, none of the problems are them either. Like, I don't think, like, tell me if I'm wrong. Anybody who's heard somebody from like the red pill spaces or that sector where women are to blame for the way they dress, the way they act, all that good stuff. Have you ever heard them say what a man is doing wrong? I'm struggling, honestly. I really can't think of a single thing they said the men are doing wrong, except for being like a real man, walking in their masculinity. Like, I've heard they need to get your self-development up. Kevin Samuels talked about self-development. You need to get your money up, not even just for them. You need to get a martial mind, a martial discipline. Get your body right, your mind right. Other than Kevin Samuels, I got to think, who else? Other than get your money up. I think that's good no matter what. Some BS for hydration. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see as much. There you go with the booty sweat again. Oh no, Bree put the booty sweat in. Oh, it wasn't during this song. Oh, some BS. Yeah, he does put the BS. Oh my God, Dorian. Yes, Dorian with the BS, yo. I know he's Dorian be on that, man. Dorian be on that. Tastic. Oh, so it's not booty sweat. Y'all see y'all jump to the wrong conclusion, y'all nasty minded people. That's what he meant though. Y'all both said the same thing. Yeah, yo, we gotta have that conversation at some point. Like I wasn't. I know, hey man, we be crazy over. They be on Twitch, man. We be clowning. Dorian be clowning. But yeah, man. Oh, he switched up. Yeah, he switched up on y'all. Y'all know what BS he be talking about. Y'all know what BS he be talking about. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, but listen, I ain't really come prepared for like with no topic today. I just wanted to, check in with y'all, see how y'all was doing. And y'all share something heavy in the Discord about the dude that had killed the lady and they had the 6 kids. 6 kids, y'all. 6 kids. Ain't got neither parent now. Neither parent. And that's some tough stuff. It's hard to talk about the part we play. The part we play in our outcomes. It's difficult. Nobody wants to hear that they might have a hand in it. It's easier to blame everybody. I know a lot of people blame like racism. I mean, I know that racism exists, but it's not what our biggest problem is. Our biggest problem is ourselves. Our biggest problem is always ourselves. Every single time. Every single time. Most black people don't even deal with a white person on a daily outside of their job. But like in their real life, when they step outside of work, when they're going home, all of the problems manifest from people that look just like you. And most of them are your reflection. It's you. Most of the problems are your choices. And at some point, man, we really got to tap into that. Like I reference Jordan Peterson a lot, man. Get your own house in perfect order. I think we need to have, we were talking about this on Breeze Stream. Idealism. How idealism is people having this image that's really unattainable. But when Plato talked about it, he talked about it in a way that our ideal should be something that we could actually realize. Not all the perfect things like oh, you can just take off. If you evolve, you'll be able to take off and fly. That's fantastic. That's unbelievable. But that your ideal should be like just being the best version of yourself, the best version of humanity, the best version of a parent, the best version of an employee, the best version of an employer. Like your ideal should not be something that's unattainable. And I think that's what happens a lot. We'll set our mind to something that, well, like I'm in poverty, but I can have 6 kids and be a good parent. It's probably not going to happen. We have to learn to set smart ideals, like forms. Plato talked about forms, our archetypes, the things we envision, our models, our mental models. That stuff's going to have to be grounded in reality. Yeah, I know. Mezzo talking about she'd have 6 kids. Those kids are fun. That's half the problem, Mezzo. They're also an expense. And when people can't take care of them, they're a burden on society. Oh my God. Do you have room you got room for 6 kids, money for 6 kids? You got arms to hold on to 6 kids? If the foundation is fortified. That's the thing, true. Most people don't, and I know you know this, most people don't make sure they have a firm foundation for anything they do. No decision most people make has a firm foundation. Even on a basic level, I'll use me. Like even like I'm a fat guy. Even the way I deal with food, I don't have a foundation of healthy eating, portion control, and nutritional value, right? That's the foundation that a person should come to when they're eating. That's just eating. It's what you're putting in your mouth daily. And being mindful, how the pace in which you eat. All of that stuff. We're not even mindful about how we eat. And that's a basic decision. Just make sure you have 6 kids money and 6 kids time. Yeah. Okay. What up, Wally? Wealth Talk Productions in the building. 6 kids patience. 6 kids insurance policies. Yes, if you don't take care of them, then yes, you have to cause a cancer situation for the community. And that's what's happening a lot of times. Because that's a drain on your time and your energy and your money. And sure, maybe you have all of that love to give. But when you can't attend to 6 kids and their homework and their this and their that, because you've got to feed and clothe 6 children, that's difficult. And the pink culture and how much power the pink culture has. Pink culture has a lot of power. Now this right here. And here's another thing. I don't even know. I don't know if the guy was serious or not. But there was a guy who came into on the Twitch channel and said he was ready to kill himself because his father had died and he didn't have a way to pay for college. Like, people are burdened by some things that they matter, but not to the degree of our lives. Imagine one of your children thinking that because they can no longer afford college or you couldn't afford it for them, they ready to check out. Like, imagine that. Like, that's one of the costs, the unintended consequences. I want to have a big family. Okay. But then when you can't and give them the reality that they're expecting, then what happens? When you have a favorite or you spend more time with one because they might be special needs, then what? What about the one that gets neglected? What about the one that seems strong so you don't spend as much energy and time into them because they seem like they got it together? It's hard to develop 6 human beings into well-developed people on top of everything else you might have to do, like work or be a partner and spouse. That's a lot. That's a lot. Now, I don't think people be playing. As I'm going to say, I don't think people take that with the seriousness, with the weight. Imagine how hard and difficult life's been for you, and you want to do 6 of them, and you think you can give them the type of life that they'll be satisfied with. And to do everything else that you like to do, your hobbies, your interests, your spouse, your partner, your traveling, all that good stuff. And this ain't a meso. We're talking about the lady that has 6 kids. Yeah. If you're struggling with the first 3, exactly. And I get it. People will love the love, but what about the practicality? What about the practicality? What about the practicality? It's wonderful to be a good mom, but can you actually complete the task? Truth and purpose. 6 kids between the ages of 10 and 5 months. Ooh, they were all that. Oh, Jesus. Bruh. I don't have a favorite. I remember my son thought that until I got in his sister's tail. Like, he never said, hey, sometimes it takes that. But a lot of us that are have been around the Bible, we know the story of Joseph and the coat of many colors. We know that favoritism can breed contempt and resentment. And she sounded like a loving mother, which is wonderful. And by the looks of when I saw the pictures of the family, they look well tended to. Great. But man, the children grow up and they have different needs. When the children have different needs and they're coming into adulthood and that adulthood pressure comes in, can you still give them what they need? Because again, that young man that came into the chat on Twitch saying that he was ready to check out. Again, I don't know if he was real or not. I don't know if he was telling the truth or not. I don't know if he was being a troll or not. All I know is I do know people that feel that weight. And he felt more comfortable talking to people online than he did to his mother because his mother had just lost her husband. Man. Panda backs and chocolate mousse calf. Let's talk about exotic food like smothered panda backs and chocolate mousse calf. Hey, have you ever had fried koala? Fried koala and dumplings? Now you got to be careful because you might because you know they're syphilitic. They might give you something, but it's like a 50-50 chance. So every dish you eat is a 50-50 chance you're gonna have an outbreak on your face. My favorite child depends on the day. Yes, sir. And that happens. And we don't consider stuff like that. We're just thinking, oh, we're only thinking about our love. The love we can give. Yeah, the love we can give. Yeah, the love we can give and receive is great. But what about the practicality? And when that oldest needs their own space, they all start to have specific needs as they get older too. Yeah, it's difficult. We don't think about the full application of growing a human being. We'll think just about the love piece. Yeah, I know. Right, his mom had to have been overwhelmed. He was overwhelmed. He lost his dad. That's enough. That's a major burden on a person's life. That's a major burden on a person's life. Oh, I had the wrong disease. My bad. It's not syphilis, it's chlamydia. Clams. Koala and clams. There we go. Don't even know he be thinking about ending up. Yeah. His mom don't even know that he thinking about that. So he's got to go to strangers to talk about it. To vent. That he's stressed out. I just lost my dad. And instead of just being able to grieve about the loss of my dad, I've got the pressure. I've got to get this degree. I'm already working to pay for it. So I've got no money. All my money's either taking care of the family or going to my degree. I can't afford both. What do you do, man? People are under pressure. They are burdened. They are taxed to an extreme. We have to do better by ourselves and better by each other, by the decisions we make. Mom's really thinking they have it all in check because they feel like they have it all in check. Because it's about feeling. If you feel like you have it all, you'll operate in that space. It'll give you confidence. But the world around you will be falling apart. Which is why when divorces or something happens or somebody takes their self out, everybody's in shock because they're not tapped in on a mental level. They're just thinking about the love. I watched a video and I'm going to do it. I want to have a talk, honestly, about people taking themselves out. Because I saw a video and they I know I was talking about Tough Talk Tuesday, but I don't know if I want to watch that video. The day before, a lot of people took themselves out. They were joking and laughing and playing with their family like nothing was going on. You won't even see it because kids don't often want burden their parents. You don't want to burden the people around you. And most parents don't even make space for their kids to be born. Absolutely not. And sometimes spouses don't. Sometimes partners don't. Because I know this is sometimes an issue I have with women. They'll want you to be 100% honest, but then when you tell them something, they're like, oh, now I'm going to be worried. Well, I don't want you worried all the time and then constantly bringing it up. Like, if I'm already worried, I can worry about it myself. But if you're worried and then constantly bringing it up when I'm not worried about it, man, it's like a feedback loop. Because women are worriers. So sometimes, man, we feel like we got to keep stuff off of y'all, but y'all want to know, like, so y'all can make the decision of how you feel. And yeah, that's all cool, but then it causes a problem when y'all get into a worry cycle because all y'all can't manage worry. Yeah, people are often upbeat before they do it because they made that decision. So they're relieved because they know I ain't got to keep dealing with this pressure. I don't know anyone who thinks they have it together. Actually, they're all super hard on themselves. I think they're great, but we are hard on ourselves. Yeah, you're hard on yourselves, but there's a confidence that comes from feeling like you're doing a good job in the moment. You're hard on yourselves, but we're human, and there's a psychology at play. So, like, if any time, like, it's like sports, a guy has a game and he hits a home run, man, he's feeling good about himself, and that confidence might carry him for a few games, and he'll have another couple of good hits, and it'll sustain him. But he won't be thinking about how his form, the way he's swinging the bat, is actually overworking his back, and he's pulling the back muscle every time he's swinging. He's causing himself an injury because his confidence is making him, well, I'll push through. And women and mothers will do that a lot. They'll take the gains and they'll push through something that actually should be stopped and addressed. So yeah, you are hard on yourselves at the same time where you're overconfident. Because we have a dual thinking mind. There's a part of you that's hard on yourself. There's a part of you that's always a critic. That's always going to say that you're not as good as you could be. But there's another part that will downplay or have hope or faith, and you'll overlook things that need to be addressed. And that's the part I was speaking to. It does happen. If I wouldn't want more kids, but I didn't have affinity for kids. I'm the GOAT when it comes to his dad kids. What's up? Yeah, Warriors Marcus. You know the women be worrying. Nah, but most moms know they don't have a handle on it all because it's damn near impossible, especially if you're a single mom. Yeah, everybody knows the burden. But then when you actually get something done, I mean, it's like a project. Like, even if it's not a kid. Man, I got 6 kids out of the house on time, blah, blah, blah. I did that thing today. We all know that's a boost. We all know that's a boost. And then when you do that, you be like, man, I did that and I made it. I could probably handle one more. And we are like, yeah, let's not act like we don't know how people act. I did not understand. I went through some heart and mind breaking shit, and I never thought about ending it all. Never brought up like, yeah. And that's the thing, man. Everybody does it. One, either everybody can't see what they should be grateful for, which is completely possible and real. I've done it. It's easy to overlook things you should be grateful for. You've taken them for granted. But the other thing is, some people just don't have a lot to be grateful for. I mean, some people just don't have it a lot popping. Not a married woman who has a partner, and they handle that. But in 2022, it takes a lot to handle that appropriately. In an urban city or major city, yeah, absolutely. No, all moms in my group cry at night. I wonder if they're doing okay regardless of gains. Okay, I mean, that's cool. I mean, you can keep trying to debate what I'm saying. That's cool, Mezzo. I understand. But people have said these things publicly. I'm not just making it. I don't have to be a mom. I've heard moms talk about this stuff. They talk about crying at night too. And all moms in your group are not all moms there are. Not all moms are even criers. So yeah, I mean, that's another thing we have to do. And again, this isn't at Mezzo, this is directed at everybody. Another thing is we'll take, like, because Bree talked about this earlier too. Well, all the men in my group are a certain way. We'll think that the group of people that we're in is like representative of all people. And it's not true. Be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove. We have to choose our words and thoughts carefully. And it's hard to choose your thoughts carefully because your words and your thoughts are given to you by other people until you seek out an expanded range of thoughts and words. And most people don't have the time or inclination. It's a good convo to have. Our real world can be on fire, but when we in other people's worlds, we be fine. But we will get back to our world eventually. That's why drugs and alcohol is big business. Absolutely. Because that other world is kind of set up. It's kind of structured. We know what to anticipate in the other world. We step into like the work domain, we know what to expect. We step into church. We go into the world to do business. We know the parameters. But we're responsible for the structure in our own life. And that's a burden. Oh boy. Okay, you might feel you're doing okay, but you always wonder if you're fucking a kid up. Okay. I'm gonna concede the point. Great. Mezzo. Okay, all moms think they're doing a terrible job. You happy now? Are you happy now? Are you happy now? All moms think they're terrible. All moms are crying. No mom on the earth is overconfident and thinking she's doing a good job. No mom has ever said, I'm a dope mom. No mom has ever felt that way. I'm completely off base. Thank you. I get it. I'll drop the point. Then you have some who think the next one will be better. End up with 5 monsters. Hey, Summer. What's up, Summer? That's a way to come. Summer always comes in with a comment. It's the funniest. Bro, Summer's wise delusional. It's not about that itching and fucking ovaries. Reel it in, ladies. I'm not debating you. I'm living it. They live it. So no one can speak for our moms. Oh, whatever, Mezzo. Shout out to you for this, bro. Fish and chips. I don't think that. I have a lot of examples, is all I'm saying. I don't have careful words for careless people. Ooh, it's truly is to each their own. Ooh, mushy peas. I'm my own example. My mother, my sister, my friend. Ooh, she getting feisty. But sorry, it's not directed at anybody here. Yeah, debating represents SCG gang in the building. Okay, they're typing all this daggone English food talk. I don't even know what any of that stuff is. pie match. None of the women here that are moms are these women I'm talking about, just to be clear. Yeah. I didn't say that though. I literally said I don't know any moms who have it all together. You took it. I'm not taking it personally. I don't. Mezzo, I'm not a mom. I don't care. I can't have kids. Thank the Lord above. I wasn't born with ovaries or a fallopian tube or a vagina. It's not personal to me. I'm so thankful I'm not a woman. I'm so glad I don't have to worry. Oh my God. Woo! It's one of the biggest reliefs. It's one of the biggest reliefs. Biggest reliefs. I can't forget the gravy now. I gotta get totally blasted or mudded, mate. Okay, look. Soprano. I was speaking from my experience. So I get it, Mezzo. I get it. I'm not a mom. I'm not a mom. Not a mom. Forget you. Because I'm wearing a brunette. Because I'm wearing a brunette does not mean I'm a mom. Forget both of y'all. I get you, Mezzo. I was just, You like butter? Out of context, Dorian, you be saying some of the randomest stuff. And I know I like butter, man. But yeah, man, that was so weird. Hey, listen, man. Who goes live with a brunette on? Listen, I do. Listen, I'm going to tell you. I was going to make fun of y'all, right? Because it was so funny, Brie. When I was wearing these little skull caps, I started wearing a brunette. 3 different women complimented it. And I was like, has a man ever complimented a woman's bonnet? I don't know that a man has ever, in my history, I don't know that I've ever heard of a man thinking like, oh, that's an attractive bonnet. I thought that was so funny. That was such an interesting thought experiment. Has a man ever complimented a woman's bonnet? So then it made me think, is it because y'all never match y'all's bonnets with y'all's outfit? Y'all never even put like the effort in to coordinate y'all's bonnet with your outfit? I do wonder. What does having all together look like to you? It's a good question, Sam. Regardless, it's damn near impossible convo to have a woman know. Every conversation is near impossible to have a woman. Excuse me. Hey, they heard they call Rashawn Big Papa. Hey, man, listen. Got a lot of names in there. I got a lot of names in these streets. No, I'm just joking. Yes, women get very weird about critiques of parenting. Yes. And even women get weird about critiques of parenting. Women get weird about critiques of womanhood. Women get weird about critiques about how men feel about themselves. Weird women. You wear anime bonnets? Okay. Wadada my try that again. Wadada my main Danny on the Lipacha. I don't know what that could possibly be. Don't do that. To me, having it all together would be perfect. I don't think it's possible. We're all just doing our best. Brie, y'all know y'all get weird about all kinds of stuff, including how men feel about being men. Y'all get weird. Pootie saying voice needed, yeah. What I tell you, my man? Danny on the Lipacha. Okay. That makes more sense. And yeah. Come on, Bree, stop it. Stop it, Bree. Stop it. Don't even nah me, Bree. Don't even nah me. Y'all get weird. Y'all get weird. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, all right. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. But y'all, women, I feel this is my opinion as an opinionist. Danny, what is up, man? What is up? What is up? It is my opinion that women ask for, and that my actual, what I was actually going to talk about today was vulnerability versus transparency. That was going to be my talk. What I believe is women request and demand transparency from men, but what they should actually be given is vulnerability, because women really don't handle transparency from men very well. Transparency from men, that when women get transparency from men, they always get weird. But we could be vulnerable, but transparent. And I was going to talk about what that looks like. And I'm still going to have that talk at some point. But women don't handle transparency. Just straight honesty and blunt. Nope. We spoke about the conversation yesterday on being perfect. When we stop comparing ourselves to the standard, then we can see that we're doing fine. Yeah, Brie. Comparison is a thief of joy. Weird is an attractive trait to have. Sometimes. Nah, listen, Brie. I don't mind it when I pointed out that that was interesting. Y'all went up. That's not what happened, Brie. That's not what happened. Y'all didn't like how it sounded. No. Nope. It doesn't translate like that. Someone translates a thing. See, something doesn't translate, something just is. So if I hand you a piece of candy and you say, oh, this means you want to stab me in the eye, you translated that. The candy didn't translate anything. The object, the thought, the concept, the idea, it doesn't translate itself. You translate it. You have active participation in taking one thing and changing it into another. Translation is valid data, but you have to understand that you're the one doing it. You can't offload that like, oh, it translated itself. No. And that's where the issue comes in. We're saying women are taking something that we're giving them and translating it to mean something else. And instead of saying, you know what, you're right, we are doing that, and maybe I can do less of that. It's like, no, it's your fault. Just don't give me this thing. I try not to compare myself to anyone because I don't have all the details of their life. Couldn't possibly do a fair comparison. I just do me. Yeah, so it's misinterpreted. Try another way, like you did. Don't rage out. I'm not raging out. See, now you're interpreting me trying to be clear as rage. Quit interpreting and just accept what I'm offering. Don't interpret, don't translate. Anime women is better than non-anime women. It's facts. Oh, I got you. Thank you. But you ain't got to insult me with fool. you ain't got to call me no names now. You ain't got to call me no names, but you ain't got to call me no names. But yeah, man. Seriously though, I really honestly think women don't handle transparency well. I think what men should offer is vulnerability. Like, man, I'm trying to think of what that might look like. Like when, like the conversation. Okay, we had on Bree's channel. And we talked about men, when we want to express our emotions, the one that we typically want to jump to and express is like physicality or aggressiveness. Like even in our tone, our posture, we typically want to express our aggressiveness because it's been repressed since childhood. Don't run, don't jump, don't throw things, don't yell, don't all the things that we naturally want to do physically to express our energy. Has been suppressed since childhood. You can't do it in school. You can't do it at home. You can't do it at church. Unless you got to go out and play. Then we got to be as wild as we wanted to be. Well, as adults, you still want manifestations of some of that energy. You want outlets. Excuse me. Some dudes go to the gym to get out some of their physicality. They go running, lift weights. Do things where they do get the yell or whatever express. We find ways and outlets. But if just saying that I want to do something that's a little aggressive, like women find it weird. So you can't even be completely transparent because the things we say have a different connotation with the women folk. So you even have to police your expressions of truth, your own experience. You have to police it because it'll come, oh, he's weird. He's a creep. Something's wrong with him. So you can be vulnerable and give some feeling to them, but you can't be completely transparent. Wally, if all your ways ineffective, you're a bad communicator. Oh, that's messed up. Hey, man, listen. We can fight, but listen. It's not about articulating your own thoughts well enough. Because, man, I think I do pretty good. If I have to have God tier articulation to convey a thought to you, well, there's a problem with your listening. Maybe you're not an active listener. Maybe you're only willing to hear what you want to hear. Maybe you're only looking to confirm your biases. But if I don't have the room to be human, to articulate with flaw, and you're trying to meet me halfway to pick up some of the things, to pick up some of the ideas, what I'm trying to convey, if we can't even get that level of trust in communication, well, maybe you're not well enough. Yeah, we can box. We can box. I'm aggressive. I'll be like the back of your knees, girl. That's what's up. We talking. Dorian crazy. Dorian wild, man. Sure, I believe that when I think one way and she think one way. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Like, if everything I say is getting interpreted to mean something totally different, and I'm not in your mind to know where you're taking that thought, but I'm held accountable for where you took that thought. I don't believe that. She allows you to explain. You have to explain what you mean to women. The issue comes in when dudes can't explain in details. But that's what I'm saying, Sam. Like, dudes are not well versed in long form articulation of a simple thought. Women rehearse that their entire lives. Men do not. We're actually told to say less. We practice saying less, to be concise, to get to the point. So if we have a rehearsed and practiced and reinforced communication style that is the exact opposite of what women do, we now have a communication gap. But then when you're trying to collaborate, be in partnership or relationship, both partners should be trying to meet towards the middle. He should be trying to express towards her communication style. She should also be trying to communicate towards his communication style. If one partner is unwilling to move from their communication style, that's an unwilling partner. And that's what I'm seeing. Men are being told to move all the way to where they can you should speak my language completely and clearly. But I'm not going to make any attempts to try to communicate in your way or understand you in your way. I'm still going to make all the assumptions or whatever and not fill you in. I'm still not going to communicate to you my expectations, but I want you to be fully transparent. I've heard way too many men complain about this. I've heard way too many women say what I'm saying. A different way, of course. They don't know that that's what they're sounding like, and that's what they're asking for. But that's what a lot of them are doing. Y'all hate the repeating back part. Absolutely. We do. As dudes, we like to rule with an iron fist, but we can't explain why our fist is iron. Yeah, that's true too. Prenup Matters. What's up, Mr. Rucker? He's about to be going live this month, y'all. I think on the 22nd, which is my birthday. It's a birthday gift to me. It might be the 28th, but I think it was the 22nd. Facts. Get good, noobs. Partnerships. I used a range of different words, Mr. Rucker. I said partnerships, relationships, collaborations. A word for everybody. Right. We was taught to not. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Y'all don't have a style. Ooh, gosh, the rage is in the building. Golly. It's nothing. Y'all don't have words for blue. I can't even show me on a canvas what color we're talking about. This rage. You know what, Bree? Your attitude. Right now? No. I think you need a reassurance bucket. See the reassurance bucket up here? I have it up here in case anybody needs reassurance. I think you need to take all your feelings, write them out, and just drop them in the bucket. That's what you need to do. Because I can't hear you right now. I'm not listening. In the bucket. Not listening. Yeah, Mezzo, the emotes over here just... And having custom emojis. Oh, I love Twitch for that. It just ain't the same. This ain't the same, y'all. This ain't the same, yo. Ain't the same. This may help. Thank you. Somebody sent me something in Discord to check on that Twitch thing. That was crazy. But y'all, now I again. Yeah, that most of trash. It's bad. It's all ugly. Phone emoji. Yeah, basic. But yeah, y'all, listen. I know we got a lot of stuff to work out. To have successful relationships, to have successful lives. There's a lot of things we need to work out. And I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm just saying I see some of the faulty thinking and the faulty communication. I see some of the lack of good intent, the bad faith that people have between genders. I mean, just not even like not a basic level of empathy. Not even a basic level. People treat, I know this has been oversaid and oversold, but people treat animals, man, better than we treat each other. It's really disgusting. Water is life redemption. Well, listen. My first YouTube, Twitch redemption, water is life. Everybody grab your water, take a sip. It's time to hydrate. Before you dehydrate. That's so funny. When a woman say they don't like being complimented about their body parts, that's a lie. It's only the specific body parts. Compliment a woman's shoulder blade or forearm, and it's a different vibe. See, ladies, I know it's gonna be hard for y'all to admit. I'm gonna take a stab in the dark. That was a bad choice of words based upon how violent all the language we use is. Let me read this question first. If we get the communication part correct, then we'll cure most of yes. Communication would solve, I would say, around 25%. Because of the society we're in, I honestly think money is a 50%. Communication is 25%. Money, either removing the desire to live a certain type of lifestyle or getting our money up so we can live a certain type of lifestyle, I think that's 50%. The last 25%, I think, is intention. I think we don't have positive intention. Like empathy, intention, like those things intertwine. I think that's the other 25%. Those three things seem to be our biggest things, but money would allow us to see the other two more clearly. Like, oh shoot, I don't even really like these type of people. Wow, I don't know what that wow was. Can't even figure out how to tag y'all. Someone break it down for me. I don't know what that wow was. And the compliment thing. This is what I was getting ready to say. Like back to that transparency, vulnerability thing. On mobile, not possible, just have to type it out. Like Doreen was saying, and I'm gonna ask the women, if y'all can possibly be honest about this. Can y'all admit that y'all do not react the same compliment for compliment or complimenter for complimenter? That two dudes can say the same thing and you'll have a different reaction to one based on how you're feeling them. That the compliment, if it's specific versus general, you have a different reaction. Like, as men say we have a different experience from women, and you're like, no. We just don't want to be bothered. We just don't want compliments. But then, I mean, reality, I just need women to tell me that the reality that we experience is real. I feel gaslit so often. Like y'all telling me that what I'm living is not real. What I've experienced is not real. I experienced it. False. I'm married, so I don't want none of y'all. Same still face. See, I knew it. I knew it. YouTube is the hood. More so depends on his vibe. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I can't stand Bree. So yes, the fist. I know we always come to those expressions. I understand. And if that makes me whatever. It's not about if we like them. It's all energy. This is what I'm talking about right here, y'all. I was just about to step out of here. I was going to leave that lane of thought altogether. It's not about if we like him. It's all energy. The energy is if you like him or not. If you like him is the energy. It's the same thing. Yes, all energy. So, dude, you can feel the uncomfortable energy. Yes, you don't like the energy, or you do like the energy. The energy is him. It's coming from him. You're translating. Oh, God. You're translating again. It's okay. It's okay to say the energy is him. And then it comes from him. So you either like his energy or you don't like his energy. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. No, it's his energy. You're not meeting his energy. You're meeting him. You're feeling his energy. And either you like it or you don't. Like. The word like is okay. Like, some dudes are socially awkward. Yeah. So you don't like them. You don't like their energy. It's okay. I don't know why that sounds or feels bad to say, but it's what you're saying. Some dudes are charismatic and you like that energy. Yes, it's okay. You can feel it and you like what you feel or you don't like what you feel. It's okay. Or you like how they talk or you don't like how they talk. You like how they dress or you don't like how. Maria's going to fight this point. Articulate that. Use your words. Use a longer, wordier, articulatier sentence. Since y'all like to articulate so much. Facts. Like Hawaii. I like the way your big toe shift when you walk off. You can say it's thank you. Dorian, bruh. Now he may be pushing himself or he's going outside of his usual. You can feel it. Like when dudes would come up to me at DreamCon, I can feel how social they are. Like, I don't want to be pressured unless he got the juice. If he has the juice, apply pressure. Thank you, Mezzo. See, this is what I'm talking about. That's the truth. Not about me liking him. I don't think so. I got a few minutes. Drop the link for these weirdos. Come here. Y'all about to hear some nonsense. We about to hear some gobbledygook. We about to hear some femsplaining. No, it's not that I like him or I don't like him. I haven't made any determination about him at all. I just feel the energy. I haven't even turned around to see him, but his energy has crept up on me and it has weird vibrations and it made my shoulder itch. And when my shoulder itched, I realized I didn't like the vibe he was giving off. So when I turned around and saw him, he was cute and I kind of liked him, but the vibe that made my shoulder itch, I couldn't do that. All right, I'm done. Give me a second. Hold up, Brie. I gotta get rid of this overlay. After I was doing all that. What's up, Brie? How you feeling? Other than weird.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Your lady voice. I hate it. It's hilarious. I think my volume's really low. Okay, this.
There you go.
No, I was gonna articulate because you said it's energy. I think you're conflating it too. Like when you say liking, what do you mean? Like I would like date him or I'm attracted to him, or are you just talking about like
it? All of the above. Like is an umbrella term. So like because it's an umbrella term, you can like any aspect of the person or the dynamic. That's like you like this person. You might like their personality. You might like their style. You might like the way they look. You might like the way they talk. You might like the way they walk. You might like their energy. Anything can have you like a person.
I think that's like because like Sima said, liking is worth entertaining. So like that's what I think you mean. Like you would entertain him. Like you're saying if I was single, I would entertain him. That's what I understood liking to me. And that's why I was saying, like, to me, it's not about whether you want to entertain him or would entertain him. Sometimes it's just energy. Like, for me, I can feel the energy of the person I'm talking to. So, like, some guys, you can feel that they don't usually push themselves to talk to people, or they may have saw. So, like, sometimes you can feel that. Like, when we say, weird, it don't just mean, like, oh, it's not like a violent thing. It could just be like, oh, he's very uncomfortable. He don't talk to women a lot, or he's shy. He don't push it. He could be an introvert, but you could feel that energy.
Right.
So even like, cause like, no, and for me, like, I'm not going to entertain anybody. So like when people come up to me, right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, because people come up to me now, a dude may come up to me. Like, that's why, because a lot of dudes would just come up to me to talk, ask me, and some of them would hit on me and stuff. But like, how that conversation flows a lot of time depended on their charisma. It didn't have anything to do with whether I was going to entertain them or not, because I'm not going to entertain any of them. Some of them were just better at the engagement. Some of them were better at engaging you in the conversation and getting it with the same end, like with the same like outcome that they were hoping for. But they are just like more charismatic. It's more smooth. It's a more natural conversation flow. It's just like, oh, I'm going to chat you up about something. So that's what I'm saying. I think y'all interpret, oh, you just like him, or oh, he's your type. That's why when you say like, I'm thinking you mean like, you said it's a more vague term, which is like, it's not about that. Like some dudes, the exchange is just so awkward that it's just like this weird, it's just like this awkwardness to the conversation, so it don't flow. Like that's just the truth of it.
I understand what you're saying, Bree.
I mean, that's the truth.
I understand
I'm
what
not
you're saying.
hooking up with none of them.
Right.
But if you a good conversationalist, I'm gonna sit there and talk to you. But a dude could be watching and be like, oh, she just was into him. No, he just was not weird when we were talking. He actually was good at the art of communication and conversation and small talk. And you're not. Like, sometimes it's really just that. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, some people are good at small talk. Some people are not. I don't know. I mean, because even if a dude is attractive and he's terrible, like if he come up to you and he's just like, just terrible at interaction, like that would still just throw you off. Like you'd be like.
And then the average human being was like, he was cute, but I didn't like him. Because
sometimes it be vibes.
The vibe is what you didn't like. Like, I don't understand why you're
No, but when
this.
you say, like, when you said like, it was just like I said, when I first came up, the idea, when you say like, the connotation I thought you meant was like him as far as you would take it further with him, or he's your type. That's what I thought you meant by like. But you just said in general, like, oh, you vibe, okay, whatever. But that doesn't seem to make sense in this context. But if that's the definition we sitting on, then you're right.
The situation is you don't know this individual from Adam. And they're approaching you.
Right.
So if you're going to have a conversation with them, there is something that you like to continue a conversation, unless you're super agreeable and never tell anybody no or put up boundaries. So if he's awkward, most women don't like awkward men. The few that do like awkward men and think shy and cute, they think it's cute, they'll continue the conversation because they like that energy. So it is a like thing. I'm not sure. This is the
definition of like versus what the general understanding of like in the context of what we're talking about.
So what is your definition of like? Because I'm having a hard time grasping your definition of like.
Like in this context of when you're talking about a dude trying to holler at you, and the context, like in the context of that,
you're having an exchange. Not you. Let's take Bree out of this. A woman is having an exchange with a gentleman on the street, in a shopping mall, at a bar. A woman and a guy are having a conversation. Where does like come into play? What is like
his
mean?
Intent from the conversation? Because most dudes would say a man's not just going to come chat a woman up for no reason unless he's trying to holler at her, right?
Right.
Okay, so the idea is when we're talking about a man with the intent to try to holler at a woman, and we're having an exchange. Like in that context generally means you're saying if the woman likes him, then that exchange is going to go a certain way. So generally speaking, if you're going to say like in that context, you mean if the woman is basically choosing, like would she choose, that's what I thought like meant. So you're just saying like she vibing with him, I guess. I don't know. But to me in that situation, like if you're saying if the woman likes him or not, I'm understanding it to mean you're saying if he's the type she would go for, if she's attracted to him, like physically attracted to him. That's what I'm thinking you're talking about when you say like, not just
do you like ice cream?
Yeah, but that's the way you're talking about it.
Like just means you enjoy some aspect of something. Like I said it was an umbrella term. It's a broad term.
Right.
like somehow you're adding more language to it. Like
No,
you
that's why
like
when I
means
said when
like
you
physically
established what you
attracted.
meant, I said I digress
Okay.
because what the like that you defined for me once I came up, you was talking about a
Right.
more general, like unrelated to attractiveness. So I'm like, okay, in that sense, then yes, I agree with you.
Because if you're just meeting somebody, you it's hard. From meeting people, sometimes you like people based upon different things. It's not always an attraction. It might have been the line they said, the way they approached you. There could have been anything that can make you like somebody. Some people like somebody because of the car they drive. You know what I'm saying? So I was using a very broad term because we're having a broad
Right.
conversation. So I'm not sure how we got so pigeonholed, but we're here now.
No, I
Can we
understand what
admit?
you mean.
Yeah, now that you know what I mean, can we say that yes, women do like respond differently based on if they like the guy or not?
See, that's weird language to me, but okay.
See,
I mean, it's still just sound. It's just weird language. Like it's just weird language.
okay.
Because like look me as a married person right now. Like
Mhm.
if I said I liked some random dude to my husband, he'll be looking at me like, "Oh, you like him?" Like I just feel like the word "like" has a context to it, a connotation to
I
it
get you.
that we understand socially. So if I was like, "Oh, I like him,"
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
it would just be interpreted as for like a random dude on the street, not a celebrity, or like, "Oh, I like him as an actor." Like it would just be weird. So that's where I'm coming from. Like has a connotation to it socially. In this kind of context, when you're talking about interpersonal opposite sex, like has a certain connotation. So that's why it's kind of, it's like when you're saying it, it's like that's a strong, like just because you were charismatic and I enjoyed our exchange does not necessarily mean I liked you. Like it just meant I enjoyed that exchange. So it's just me. It's a nuanced thing. But yes, I agree. You asked me why I said it's weird. That's what
No.
telling you
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. I get it. I get it. That was honestly, I promise you, that was honestly going to be what my talk about was today. Because women, honestly, I've heard that women be like, "Oh man, men overcomplicate things." No, all the work and effort that we're putting into something is to simplify it, but to y'all it complicates it. And y'all do the opposite. Y'all add all these dimensions, like y'all add all these colors to a spectrum, but say we're complicating things and we're trying to. I just want to use light for all of this stuff, and you're like, no.
But that's kind
And
of
you'll
like the
say,
argument we
"I'm
had
complicated."
yesterday.
Exactly.
That's the argument we had.
All of this thing. All of this is tied into the same dynamic. All of this is tied to the same dynamic, which is why I'm saying we have to work on some kind of point of commonality between men and women. Because also, but although we both need to bridge the communication gap, there's also a lack of interest in bridging on at least one side.
Right.
I won't say which side that is right now because I'm not trying to get.
I mean, I always be like, I concede. That's not gonna mean that how my biases towards what a word means is gonna change because I concede in the argument. But I mean, even in that video we watched from Amuleto yesterday with the guy, it was just like, even when the therapist was telling him like choose a different word, and he's like, "Why I gotta choose a different?" I mean, it just very much gives that vibe. Like sometimes the words, I understand that. Like sometimes we all use the language differently, right? Like you said, it's nuance. Like has a lot of different context. Usually defines which way we mean, right? That makes it hard in verbal communication when you're not in a situation because the context has to be like my brother was saying in the thing. Sometimes the intent or the context has to be established verbally, which is not something y'all typically do. Like you just have a trust or whatever. But I think that's sometimes in language. There's like not only from us, y'all say we complicated, but words often have connotations to them and undertones to them. And I just think that sometimes y'all don't acknowledge undertones and connotation as much. You want to use the word how you want to use it, which is fine, but then understand that some people are going to interpret that a certain way. So if they say it back, when you say it to me and I say it back to you, you're like, that's not what I'm saying. Then that's usually a sign that maybe you need to say another word another way. Or you need to define the context in which you're using the word, or maybe you're not using the best word for what you're trying to get across. But a lot of times men just feel like all of that is extra and unnecessary and it frustrates y'all.
No, it definitely does. So like, for instance, if I said, "Man, I like that girl," to like my homeboy, he wouldn't really care nor need to know what aspect of her I liked. He would just know I had some level of interest. There was something I enjoyed about her. But again, like you said, for your husband, that adds another layer of emotional context that's in necessary, because you have a relationship. So you having a like on a certain spectrum would be problematic in a relationship. But in my scenario, there was no such constraint. So when you add that constraint into it, then it becomes unnecessary. So it was a broad question with a broad relevance, with a broad word usage. And it's like, I'm not going to.
But then when you throw out blanket statements, everybody's going to interpret it based on their own life perspective. So in the situation, what we did is how you handle it. Each person comes up and I say, when I hear, and this is why it has this connotation. Why be frustrated with someone because you threw out a broad statement, and the individuals are going to interpret that broad statement based on their life experience. And a lot of times, I know my internet be struggling, but a lot of times, like, that's the problem. You men speak very simple, which is fine, but the problem is like specificity sometimes cuts out some of that room for error. So if you're going to speak generally, you have to be aware that that leaves more room for interpretation. So you can either be very specific with your words or be able to become more specific if needed. But I think the if needed part is the part. Like, I don't have that problem with you. We can generally go back and forth because you'll always find another way. But some people are not.
Yeah, but again, we're not practiced in that. And that's like what I spoke to earlier. We're not practiced in that. But to the thing, though, why that gets frustrating is, and this is where I say there's a lack of empathy on the side, because women do the same thing. Y'all get frustrated when you are trying to communicate with us and you're trying to add in all that detail, and we're glazing over parts of it, or we are skipping over parts, or we're missing. Well, I told you that. Well, you said so much. And it's hard for a person to take 15 minutes of information and remember each piece, because we're not tuned. We don't have the contextual clues that you do, that you've rehearsed through socialization from childhood, to know that when you say certain things in a certain way with certain phrases in combination, that means it has more weight emotionally. We're not tapped in. Like you just said, we use less words and we use them broadly. So if that's the case, why not extend some of grace in our direction when we're communicating? But just like us, you get frustrated when you're not heard in your language as well. So there should be at least an understanding that us women, we get frustrated trying to communicate with you men. Well, then it makes sense if you men get frustrated with us. Double Bree.
You and me, I took my hotspot device, my bad, because my internet was doing that thing. But last thing I heard was because it's so much the way you said it, and I was cackling, and then I switched internet. That's all.
I don't know exactly where I said that. What I'm saying is, women get frustrated with men when they try to communicate with us and it doesn't land. So it makes sense to me that women then would also understand that men get frustrated when we try to speak with you and it doesn't land. When we're communicating broadly, sometimes, like in that scenario, it's intentionally broad because specificity makes it, sometimes it makes it less relatable. Because yes, you can. Now, I know, let me speak, let me finish. Now, not being specific does allow for the random interpretations. Yes. But in random conversations, that random interpretation can lead us down pathways that we wouldn't have chose. So that's actually good for just regular conversation, because it opens up new lines of dialogue and new pathways of thought. That's great. So good. When two people are trying to relate, though, that miscommunication is more problematic. So a man would have to raise his level of communication to deal with the woman on an interpersonal level. But for this is great because we get to get different understandings. But again, if somebody was trying to date, that would have been a problem. And like, I'm not feeling this conversation. Well, you know what? It's time for me to leave. It was nice meeting you. So that's what I'm saying. Men will have to develop that skill to have certain levels of relationship with women, steady relationship with women. Some level of communication is going to have to be gained or matured or grown, evolved, whatever words you want to use. But again, in certain conversations, especially panel conversations, it's okay to even have the miscommunications because it can be a teaching tool. We can learn from each other even through that, which I think we've done.
That's literally the flower principle that I shared, actually. The one with the man talking about you start in the middle and then the broadness allows you to branch out to the different petals. which I agree with. But like I said, I think you're well adapted. Okay, someone's coming in with a counter argument or whatever. You are more skilled in the art of debate or going back and forth. And so that's a more evolved partner. And women have to be able to do that too. And it's not to say women are good at like accepting like the simplicity of communication of men. That also requires an evolution, or you being able to understand that like for him it can be that simple. So I think the perfect middle ground is just like, you can't understand that for him, he may not have, like you said, I know sometimes my husband says something and he may not have thought of all the ways in which he can say it. I mean, it's just, and I think that way, but sometimes even talking to my kids is a skill he has to have. He says things and they look at him with a blank face and then he's like, you're not listening to me, but oftentimes it's just because they didn't understand a word he said. And so I have to say, she doesn't know what that word say. You have to use a different word. So then he has to go in his mind and think of a different simplified word, So it's a skill you have to have, not just for dealing with other people, but in dealing with anybody else who just doesn't see the world the way you see it.
I get you. But here's the thing though. It's not a skill you have to have. Men can go through their entire lives without needing that skill. You cannot have to dumb it down for anybody. You cannot have to. You can choose to, which is why I think there's a lot of walk-away-manship. There's a lot of walk-away-manship in men. We'll walk away from a job. We'll walk away from a person. We'll walk away from our children. There's a lot of frustration in men because for many different reasons. But it's easier for us to cut bait with a lot of things. And we just won't put up with anything because we can typically uproot and start over because life has taught us we might have to. So where women feel like you have to develop certain things, I think that's also a thing with men too. We don't feel that way. We don't feel like we have to.
Right.
So if we choose to do that, and then it's not like respected or appreciated, if we put in that work, then it's another slap in the face. So, okay, I did this thing y'all keep complaining about, and then it's still not enough, which is something that is a repeated conversation with men. Like I've done all this. It's still not enough. Y'all say I need to do this. It's still not enough. So there are multiple layers of problem. But let's go ahead. Go ahead. Women sing.
I mean, that's just okay. I mean, I was just thinking. I wanted to point out the conversation we were having in Discord yesterday. I know the chat going off. Let me know if you want me to stop so you can. But we were having a conversation and my brother was saying how he has a special needs child and he had to evolve his communication skills and the input that he usually receives from conversation to be able to communicate with her and understand what she needs. And I think that was like a really good example of like a realm of communication that he typically paid no attention to. And so a lot of times he felt powerless or just like completely lost when it came to his daughter because she does not talk. Until he just decided that, it would behoove me to actually see how she's communicating and learn that type of communication. And I thought that was a good example of just something like in a way that. Sorry, my toddler was asking me for a brownie.
Are you good?
You can go get one. But I think that was a good example of kind of what I mean. Outside of a toxic, environment, that is just like you're wanting to understand, your desire to understand a person is greater than the uncomfortable or the frustration of learning this new style. And I think it happens on both sides because like I said, the first 3 years of marriage for us was like it was very frustrating for both of us, and we both had to learn some things in that first 3 years about how to communicate with each other. So
and that's what I'm saying about you don't have to. The freedom that everybody has now to abandon relationships. People aren't committed, so they don't have to deal with the difficulty of learning these things. Your brother was committed to a process that a lot of people won't. A lot of people would have probably walked away from that situation or not been willing to do the work necessary to try to communicate a different way. Or maybe some people wouldn't have had the time or the energy because they're working 2 or 2.5 jobs to take care of things. Like there's so many other barriers. Like communication to us feels like the least of which. I shouldn't have to say it so many ways or say it so few ways when I've got all these things I got to worry about and so many pots on the fire. So I get it. It's great that your brother did that, but I'm saying for the normal person, for the average person, it's asking a lot on top of all the other things they have to do. So I'm saying, why can't we give each other a little bit more grace and a little bit like they're talking about, a little bit more patience because we know how difficult it is. It's extremely difficult.
And I mean, yeah, and that's the thing I talk about when I say I'm confused, because I know some of the men that I'm around, I don't know what percentage of men they make up. You know what I mean? But in that sense, I do feel like some people say that whole I'm doing the best I can statement, or like in the church, we're all sinners. We all sin and fall short of the glory of God. I feel a way about those kind of statements, because oftentimes more than not, it's not just a, hey, I need some grace. You know, it's a, well, I'm kind of just this way, and I need you to understand that I'm just this way, and you pushing me to be anything else is kind of unfair because I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Like, it very much often is used in that context, which goes back to another one of those things. I'm very much so an underlying theme, connotation, underlying energy to what you say. It's probably 50-50. So typically the context in which that's used is when someone's holding you to a standard and you're like, I can't be at that standard because of insert whatever reason.
Nah, I get what you're saying. And I'm not even necessarily talking about the recipient of the grace. I'm talking about when we're talking across genders, why can't the giver of grace just give it? So the person doesn't even have to ask for it. You're right. When people are asking for it, it's typically for a crutch. You know, I don't want the additional burden that comes from being in a relationship with you. That's not what I'm saying. Sometimes people do just have to step up. And even though they may feel that way, there should be the counterpunch of, well, this is what a relationship requires. And blah, 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 blah. I mean, that should be the mature conversation that people have. People are going to falter. People are going to doubt. People are going to want to reserve energy. That's normal and natural. But the counterpunch is, I understand that you're human. This is what's required. This is how much time I can give you. Like, those are things that arrangements and conditions and compromises and negotiation that I think is healthy for a relationship. But I'm saying, why can't we get there, even in a allegedly committed partnership or arrangement? People seem to still get, like you said, the first couple years were difficult. People tend to tap out or they give up. Why can't we get past that difficulty?
Yeah, and I don't know. That's why I think when we start talking about why you get married and stuff like that, maybe that's kind of where those principles come in to play. I think a lot of times in those exchanges, people's feelings get hurt, and it shouldn't really be something that, you know, your feelings being hurt. Who gives a fuck? I mean, your feelings are gonna get hurt. Like, depending on personality, like, you know, I was talking to Inya in chat, like, some people are just sensitive souls, and like, Jesus, I just can't live my life. Like, every time your feelings are fucking hurt, like, bro, it rained today, now you're sad. Like, I can't. That's not a valid reason. Like, sometimes your feelings being hurt is not a valid reason for you to just abandon ship every time. You know, you have to know yourself. That's what I'm saying. So the first 3 years, like, yeah, we had a lot of arguments. It was a whole lot of back to back, you know, it was a whole lot of like confrontations, and like confrontations not being completed, or conversations because he had to walk away, or, you know, we had to leave that conversation on ice because we didn't have the skills to complete those engagements at the time. We just didn't. But because I was in this commitment, and in my feelings, you know, we're married, I signed this contract, we're in an agreement, like, my feelings kind of didn't matter. Like, oh, I didn't like the way you left the conversation when I was upset. Oh, now my feelings are hurt. So now it's just like, you have to still believe the best in the person you married. So I feel like that's when it comes in. Like, if you married them, you have to believe the best in them, or you're not gonna make it through those engagements. Because if you take everything personally, everything hurts your feelings, and him not being able to engage with you the way you want it, when you want it, means that he doesn't love you. That's bullshit. Like, you can't have that kind of, you know, that's what I mean. Your feelings don't really matter in these situations. Like, they do matter, but you have to reel it in yourself. Like, my husband is not, like you said, he's a very simple man. He would just walk away because he'd be like, you want to argue with me? And one, that's not my strength. So I'm not going to walk into your battlefield and think I'm going to, like, you know, like, he just had the wisdom to be like, I'm just going to walk away from this because I see you're in a place. You've seen me there. You'd be like, you know what? You own one. I'm going to pull out, you know? And that would piss me off. So if I took that personally, it could have went a different way. But I had to learn not to take it personally. He was just doing what was best for him so that he wouldn't do something he regret.
How did you get to that point, though, to not take it personal? I think that's what a lot of us do, and in all of these exchanges, even on the simple first meeting exchanges, we're taking stuff personally or our ego gets triggered, like how can we overcome that? Or if you overcame that yourself, if that's what the issue was, how did you stop taking stuff personal?
I mean, I've never been, I'm not a sensitive soul per se. I have a very nonchalant way about myself. I always have been that way. But in relationships, I did take stuff personal. I think I believe in the 4 agreements more than anything. Like, I do believe that everyone exists in their own reality at all times. So even just that belief of understanding that someone could be in a whole different reality, not that you have to understand it and not that it's their job to get you to understand it, but just understanding that this person could be seeing this situation a whole different way, or like not being selfish and like realizing you are the center of your universe because you're yourself, but you are not the center of their universe. They are. So like when he would walk away from those arguments, it would piss me off and I would want to keep going. And yes, sometimes if I was already in an emotional state, I would take it away or try to, whatever. But like, I feel like at the end of the day, like you really have to believe the best in people. And so ultimately I did believe the best in my husband. And like I said, I don't believe in getting married for love. I married him for other reasons outside of that, because if I married him for love, in those moments where I would say, oh, you walked away from me, you don't love me anymore, then that gives you a little seed of out. That gives you an out. And it's a little seed at first, but over time, if you feel like you not catering to my emotional whims means you don't love me, which is false.
Oh boy.
And you married them for love because they love you, then now you have an out. But if you married them for stuff outside of that, then you just have that to ground you even when you're in chaos and in an emotional state.
Yeah, that was like Sim was, that's deep. That's real. And I think so many of us struggle. We struggle with that. There has to be something other than the love, because the love may not always feel like love. You won't always be able to recognize, man, that was deep. Dang.
Yeah. And so now we're on the other side of that. And I have so much more respect for him now because he was able to do that even so early in our marriage. When you're usually in the like, I want to do everything to make you happy phase, he was still able to do that for himself. And I respect him so much more for that, which it generally doesn't happen at this point anymore. Like, we're on the other side of it, but that, like, I respect him so much more for not catering to all my emotional whims and waves. And so now you've heard me talk about it, that he's my grounding force now. He's earned that title. Not that he should have had to, but he has earned that respect and title from me now, where, when I was going through my imposter syndrome, I do respect him as a grounding like entity in my life because of his ability to hold his position even in those moments. Not insult me, not insult me, not belittle me, but just like hold his ground, like hold his own space, like respectfully. Like so many people don't know how to do that.
No, that's definitely a difficult thing, because a lot of times I know it's easy to do. Our ground will be the other person's ground. Like, our stability will be resting on the other person. So if you're ever in a state, what I'm saying, we'll invest too much of our own emotional state or our own ego or our own identity in our partner. So if they're ever shaky, or like you said, if the love doesn't feel the right way, it's easy to falter. So I mean, you have to be grounded and rooted in yourself. And that goes back to that 100 thing. You do have to at least become that. Even if you're not that at the beginning, you at least have to be a steadying force, because the other person is going to have moments, man or woman. Both sides are going to have their moments where they're weak in some area. So you have to be able to, when they're in their weak moments, you have to be the anchor. And I think that's the give and take. What's up?
Yeah, because sometimes I'm a crazy, chaotic creative. So, but there are times when I can be a grounded force for him. I do have like a nurse brain, at some points. And in those kind of situations, those are more my strength. When there's like hurt, pain, like we got to crack down, someone's hurt in need of care, like that's where I shine. Like, he generally can't handle the girls being hurt. you know, like he's not good with that. And you would think, oh, dad, but no, it's me. Like everybody's like, where's mom? And I'm like, okay, you know, my nurse brain. So that's kind of where I ground him. He's very emotionally attached to his children. He's very sensitive when it comes to his girls. So he's not able to be that, which is fine. So I'm more of the grounding force in that way.
Nah, that's good. That goes back to when people talk about things being complementary. So I think that aspect of relationship is when people can become complementary, and their traits and skills and things kind of pick up where the other person's falter. I think those tend to be the most optimal relationships, because I'm not gonna use that word. It becomes symbiotic. You know what I'm saying? It become intertwined, even with your characteristics and traits.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I do agree. I know I was raging out, but I do think both parties have to evolve and grow. And also, like, the biggest thing that was hardest for me was realizing that if he has the feeling, like a strong emotion, like sadness or whatever, he doesn't want that handled in the same way I want it handled. So even that, like, I had to learn that, like, if I'm sitting in a room, if something happens horrible and I'm crying, there may be a certain reaction I want. But if he's crying, then there might need to be he doesn't want the same thing I want. And typically he doesn't cry. I mean, you know how y'all are. It has to be something big. But we've been through some things that would make a grown man cry, and rightfully so. But like what he needs from me in that moment is so different. So I had to be willing to learn that too. Like he might not ever want to come back later and talk about it. You know, and like for me, that's weird. But like, so I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So
I think that's an important evolution that people have to come to as well. And it's hard on the front end. When I'm talking about the light portion of it, it's hard for us not to look for ourselves reflected back from another person. But the differences between men and women sometimes are so stark that when we actually realize that, it's dramatic. And men will be like, man, I can't stand these women. And women will be like, I can't stand these men. But it's because our differences are so stark, but they're necessary because that's what makes us complementary. I mean, you'll be good in the areas that I won't, and I'll be good in the areas that you won't. And that's what makes it fit. Because if we were exactly the same, it
is inspirational. I think we were talking about that. Was it on an ISM show? I was saying like how, or was it I don't remember, but we were talking about how like women do, like we're so alien that like things that are so far from you were saying are like, you said it in a beautiful way of like how your inability to understand every aspect of something has a certain element.
It's awe-inspiring.
Yeah, so it's like awe-inspiring sometimes. I mean, when you see a well-adjusted man navigate through life, it is awe-inspiring. Like, and I feel like it should be the other way. When a man sees a like woman who is like well-adjusted, like navigating like motherhood and all the things, it should be awe-inspiring. Because sometimes I look at my husband and I'm like, how can you sit on the couch and think about nothing? Like, that's awe-inspiring to me. I do like. He always laughs at it because I'd be like, are you thinking about nothing right? Like, it's a thing now. Like, when I see him, he just looks so relaxed. I'm like, are you thinking about nothing right now? Like, I want to be that way one day.
But it's the same, I promise you, because us, it's like, wow, the way y'all, how are y'all operable with all of the things y'all have on y'all's mind all the time? Like, y'all literally be doing something like very intensive, but also be thinking about something that you can't control, but it's also like an intense emotional thing. Like, how can you focus with your mind split across all these spectrums? But y'all manage to do things and y'all make things look effortless. So a lot of us be like, wow, like y'all are amazing when we allow ourselves to think about that aspect of y'all. So I mean, women, y'all wonderful creations, beautiful, everything. Y'all know I talk about y'all nicely, but the way we communicate though. But
it's a struggle.
I love y'all. You're amazing. Y'all women are amazing.
We were thinking about that because I went to the hospital the other day and I was like at 8 out of 10 pain. I have a high pain tolerance, but I was crying. I mean, it was like childbirth pain almost to a lesser degree. And even in the midst of all that, we're like, okay, we're going to go to the hospital. We're like getting ready. Like, I literally can't stand up. I'm like by the door waiting and he's trying to get he gets the toddler because it's like middle of the night. And he's like, okay, I gotta put it. I'm like, she has an outfit in this drawer right here. You can get this orange shirt and this. And he's like, how are you like, how do you know exactly what her outfit is? You've picked out an outfit for her at 2 a.m. in 8 out of 10 pain, hunched over, like ready to go to.
Yeah.
Like, how?
Because most of us would be like, later, baby. Later, baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? We out of here. Like, no, it's checking out time. But nah, I get you. It's difficult, man. But I think do you think, let me just ask you, what do you think could get people more in tune and in that frame of mind to see the beauty of the opposite gender as opposed to all the flaws? What do you think is one of the things we struggle with?
I know I've been being so good, but I'm gonna start off with shade. First, figure out if you actually like the opposite gender, truly. And then after that, make sure you do your shadow work so that you're not in denial. You're not lying to yourself every day, every hour, so that you won't necessarily have that bias placed on other people. Because I always talk about shadow work. Do your shadow work, people. Like, I cannot stress that enough. And like, come to some understanding. Like, we do the ism show, which I like doing the ism show. You don't have to put on identities. I think even my brother said this, like, stop putting on identities. Find your own, take a little bit from the things that serve you. And just like try to be like, yeah, it may be a lot, but like try to have some grounding principles that you could say to somebody else of how you move. Like how you say, like, what makes you be able to do this? I was able to quote a principle that I leaned upon, that I gleaned from, reading, right? I said the four rules of agreement or whatever. Like, I think a lot of people just don't have that time. I think that's part of shadow work and introspection. Like, find what speaks to you so that you can like articulate, because it's so much easier if I could tell you, like, I'm a transcendentalist. You may not know what that means, but now it's like archetypes. Like, you can go and see, okay, this is kind of how she sees the world, to some, like, help people understand you. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, help people understand you in as simple as possible, which is why I like archetypes and play those forms like we were talking about yesterday. Like, help people, like, that's part of it. Like, please help me understand you. Is there somewhere I can go to understand this? Like, what is your parenting philosophy? Like, can you tell somebody what your parenting philosophy is besides beat my kids' ass when I'm mad? Like, do you have an actual, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
Well, I'm gonna ask a question because I know we say this a lot on panels and things. What would you say, like, to restate to the common man who has a very simplified tongue? What does shadow work mean, and what does that look like?
When I say it just means you have had some time of introspection to grasp the negative aspects of your core personality, who you are. Maybe it came from trauma. If you have a crazy trauma, though, I would say you might need a professional, though. You probably need, if you had real trauma in your life, you probably will need a professional to walk you through working through that in a safe way, because you can get stuck in reliving trauma. You can get stuck in that, right? So I'm not going to say that, but just negative aspects, like aspects of yourself, you should be able to say them to other people. Like, you should be able to know what they are and like how to integrate it. The integration of the shadow self is like, well, how do I work around my inherent negative traits? That's all I mean. To the point where you're not pretending they're not there, and then like gaslighting everybody because you can't even accept that you have these negative traits. Like, he's talking about wrong. That's what I would say. Like, I'm kind of like, I'm not consistent. Like we were talking about, like, I work a lot in clumps and then I'll kind of chill out. So like, I had low energy, or like I'm a procrastinator. Like, there's things about me, like when I get high strung, like high anxiety, I tend to snowball and then self-sabotage. So like, I know my negative aspects, and I'm also aggressive.
AF. AF.
I'm also aggressive.
I like what you said. I mean, because it's real. We say shadow work so much, though. I didn't know if everybody kind of had a good understanding what that meant. And it's really just like getting to know the negative aspects of yourself that other people experience and that manifest in your life, but you just probably haven't dealt with or understood or faced. And it may just be something as simple as procrastination, or maybe you're flaky, Or maybe you habitually lie. Like you lie about small things for no good reason and you don't know why you do it. Like we all have some level of negative trait that either we don't deal with or we won't even acknowledge. So that's what Bree means when she says shadow work. And I say personal development. Yeah, I say personal development, but we're all using different terms to say the same thing. You got to get your own house in perfect order. Clean your yard, whatever you need.
Dorian said just give it to the Lord, though.
Yeah, and see, that's problematic. I don't even want to start getting on the Christians. Like, because I now this is part of my shadow. Because of the way I was raised up around the church, and I saw, like a lot of us, we have a lot of church hurt, and we saw a lot of hypocrisy. I have a lot of contempt for the church and the people that stay in it to a certain degree, that don't at least have a level of awareness of the church's shadow. If you can't recognize the churches and the Bible shadow, then it's like I really can't rock with you. So I'm trying not to say anything spiteful because with stuff like that, those kind of statements, that irks me.
Give it to the Lord. Oh, now my favorite church phrase is we all sin and fall short of the glory of God.
Yeah.
But forgive him 777 times. That's my favorite.
Yeah. See, that's why I hate when that's not tempered with what Paul said about not taking the grace of God for granted. Like, yes, you're supposed to forgive, but nobody's supposed to lean on that forgiveness as a crutch to keep continually staying in the wrong. So that's what I'm saying. If it's not tempered by the full word, it bothers me. But just give it to the Lord. That's fine. But sometimes we overlook work that we're supposed to do. Like people say, God's going to find me a husband, or God's going to find me a wife. Well, he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. Like, so you're supposed to be finding. Like, why you want to give God every task? Like, are you supposed to do anything yourself? But yeah,
like, is he like on Tinder? Like, is he swiping through?
Like, I gotta do everything. I gotta do everything. I made all of them. I made all of them. They're all good. They're all good. I made them all. You're the problem. No, let me quit.
I know that's blasphemy, but still, yeah, I get it.
But you put on. You also said put on identity. That's another phrase, like a specific phrase from a specific sect. Until again, the common man who has the common tongue. When you say put on an identity, what do you mean when you say that?
What that mean? I don't even know what that means. I mean, I do, but I don't. It's like because people will try to ascribe things to you. I think when we say it, it's just a rebuking of the thought. You know what I mean? Like, as a Black person, like for me being a Black female from the hood, like, I mean, there's so many things that are ascribed to me, like statistically, just physically, you know, people will ascribe things to you. And like, you don't have to put that shit on. Like, you don't have to ascribe to none of that. You know? Team effort. Like, it's just kind of rejecting like labels in a way. I mean, but I don't want to say that because like labels are important, right? Like when you're how to relate to people, like relating to people is important. So you should be able, but it's kind of like when Paul said, become all things to all men. Like you should be fluid. Like you should be able to, you can change, you can evolve. You don't have to ever settle in anything so hard. You know what I'm saying? That your identity determines how you feel, how you think, what you have a problem with more so than your own authentic self. Like, I just hate that. Like if somebody's like, I'm a conservative, and then it's just like, no, it doesn't matter what a conservative says. It's like, gotta be, you can't outwardly disagree with them because now you're having a crisis of conscience. Like, I don't like that.
I get you. And I know I'm putting on an identity for me. It's like you said, you're accepting all of the terms and conditions of a label. Whatever that label is, you're accepting all of the terms and conditions. So if I'm a Christian, that means I'm accepting all of these different little caveats and ways that I have to be and operate and say. So I think, bra bonnets. I think that's a weird thing that people do. Putting on an identity. Like you said, it might be a conservative, might be, it could be any number of things. But in these conversations, putting on an identity, sometimes it might even be the type of man or the type of woman. Like I know men have a problem with the boss chick identity because that comes with an aesthetic and it comes with a way of communicating. Like there are things that we put on identity wise in that vein too. The alpha, Y'all know about the identity, the alpha man. Women don't. Y'all get tired. That identity and what it comes with. It comes with talking points and rhetoric and all that. We know, like putting on that identity and wearing it like a suit of clothes. We got to stop doing that. We have to find our identity within ourselves, and not take on and adopt all of these random ideologies and manifestations. It's weird. But I want to ask you another question before you go, because I know you be trying to sneak off.
I don't be
Transparency. Nah, you be trying to sneak off. You be like, hey, you know what? Thank you for having me, but I gotta get you real quick. Transparency versus vulnerability. I said that earlier. And Quantum saying transparency is required dealing with me. And I'm gonna ask the question. I'm not even gonna push back. I'll just share my own perspective. What you say is gonna stand for you. I'm just gonna share my own perspective. I'm tired of pushback to that. But should women receive transparency from men or vulnerability and honesty? I see those as separate. If you need me to wait, because we had that conversation earlier, let me describe and give context to what I'm saying, because those are kind of umbrella terms too. I see vulnerability as being able to express my emotions and let you know, even when I'm existing in a negative emotion. So that means not hiding that, not telling you that I'm fine when I'm not. So something like that would be vulnerability. And honesty with me, I will find a way to communicate to you that maybe I lost my job, or I really don't like your mother, or I find a way to say it. It doesn't have to be brutal or blunt, but I find a way to say it. Transparency, I think, comes to where you say everything that you think. And I've found that there's typically a problem when you say everything that you think and feel, because women, some of it's so weird and foreign to women that it can sometimes cause problems, even in a relationship. Now, why would you think that? Or like, man, your sister's attractive. That's transparent, but I don't think that serves the relationship. So what do you think about the difference between transparency and vulnerability and even honesty?
Yeah. And I also want to know like what quantum means by transparency. But yeah, that's funny. You filter them thoughts out, bro. Like this was like somebody asked me on the panel, like, if your husband came home and said, I thought about sleeping with my coworker, I'd be like, so we squaring up? Because if you didn't do anything and you're not going to, why did you, like, if you feel like there's a problem here that I can fix, then we could talk about that. But you coming to me like, hey, thinking about sleeping with my coworker, just wanted to let you know, we fighting, bro. We fighting, we squaring up. We're in toxic mode at this point. There's going to be no. So I guess that would be transparent. Like, nah, I'm good.
That's transparent.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna need you to put that through your ringer, your self-regulating ringer first. Before you come to me. I don't need to know everything. I don't need to know every thought you have. They're not mine to know. They still belong to you. I also don't need to know every dark demon of your past. If you have worked through it and you have integrated shadow self and you are well adjusted and it does not control, I honestly don't even, of course, if it's a big thing, like, yeah, bro, you got like HIV, I'm gonna need you to, right. You know, that's honesty. That's like, be honest. Yeah, but like, yeah, we together, we already know all that stuff, like going forward, transparency. You don't have to tell me everything you think.
Yeah. And that's I'm glad you said that, because I think that's where the delineation for me comes from. Honesty is me being willing to tell you, having the courage to tell you anything that impacts you and our life together. So anything that impacts you and our life together, I should have the honesty to tell you. Transparency is me having no blockage. You can see anything and everything I think and feel. And I think that can be a problem, because sometimes we'll be like, man, I want to punch you in the face, like in our mind. But that kind of transparency is not useful. I wouldn't ever do it. But I'm like, Dad, sometimes, man, you say something, I just want to punch you in the face.
Yeah, well, that's looking ugly as fuck right now. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's what I really don't think transparency, like being able to see completely through I don't think that's healthy for the man or the woman. Because sometimes I'll be like, I'm just not really attracted to you right now. That might be in your head. I don't ever want to hear that.
Same with me.
That D just ain't hitting tonight. That D just ain't hitting. Like,
that was subpar. I give it 2 out of 5.
I don't ever no transparency. No, thank you. Keep transparent.
Put a little more rotation in the hips next time. You'll get them tiger. Pat on the butt.
But honestly, like, you know what? I think we need to just try again tomorrow. Like, ooh, I'm still gonna feel it, but not the same way that's transparency.
Well, if we asking, I mean, if there's like a space opened up, I feel like honesty should be able to be, met. If there's like, okay, we let's have an honest conversation. Okay, now this is the part where okay, but yeah, you just being like, ugh, look at her, she thinks she cute. I hate when you wear that ugly ass bonnet, cause I'm gonna keep wearing it anyway. So, yeah, I don't need to hear all this. No, I'm good. No, I think people have a right to their thoughts, and I definitely think that's something that women like have a struggle with too. Of feeling like because a person's with you, you have a right to their thoughts and their emotions and their feelings. You don't have a right to their thoughts and emotions and feelings. So yeah, you gotta. Yeah. You said being blunt. It's not necessarily being blunt. It's just kind of like it hasn't passed through any self-regulation, any okay, let me attack this problem. I'm feeling this way. Is it a me problem? Is it a you problem? Like, I'm gonna need you to push that through that filter right now first before you come to me. Because once it become a me thing, you just tread lightly.
Yeah, that's game. It don't supposed to hit all the time. That's a manipulation conversation. Yeah. And I'm willing to hear, like Dorian said. Like Dorian said, tell me I'm trash and I'm progress. Like, there's a way to say. Yeah, there's a way to say it where it's honest. I'm being honest that wasn't like your best effort, or it just wasn't. I wasn't feeling it tonight. Those are fine, and we're still going to get that ego bruise. But like saying, that was trash, or ugh. Like that's all you got, like that kind of stuff. Like ooh, like it's
yeah. You gotta, and then like sometimes you say it could be like as a woman, it could be. Oh, I'm thinking about this. Oh, the kids drugged me today. It can like not even be a you problem. So just imagine if every time I had a stressful day and I'm just not connected with my body, I'm sitting here telling you, oh, this trash. Oh, I like, come on, like. That would be horrible because sometimes that could be it. It's not a you thing. Like it could be just not anything you're doing. It could be a me problem. I don't need to tell you. I don't need to put that burden on you. I don't need to put that on you. The kids drug me all day. I'm like just not in the mental space. And maybe I just decided to acquiesce because, okay, you need to let off some steam, like whatever. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put my game face on. So maybe I'm putting my game face on. Do you want to hear that? Do you want to be? Do you want me looking at my watch that I don't have on while we doing? Like, come on, like this. No, you don't need to do all that.
Now I'm gonna take a hard left here. Now I appreciate your response. I mean, that was really good info. But there was a question I had earlier that y'all really had pushback on. And shout out to AR, Wally, everybody that came in I didn't name. Quantum, Yella, thank you for all of y'all for being here. I think Roberto, Nova came.
You didn't say them, they right there.
I said Sim earlier. Sim, I mentioned him way earlier. But thank you, Sim, and definitely Marcus. Everybody that's passed through so far, man. So I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody.
I hate Dorian. To my young musty bra.
Baby, your musty bra on there is cuffing. I love you, so I told you. Wow. But the question I had was in regards to that mother thing. Now I know. I'm not a mother. I'm not a woman. So when men are sharing their experience of women and mothers, like you said, women can sometimes get weird of that.
Yeah.
But why is it that when a man is speaking of his experience, that's a lot of times what we're doing. We're giving our opinion. We're giving our experience or understanding from random people or from us. Why is it so hard? And I guess men do it too. Because women talk about what men do. We do the same thing. Like y'all can't speak about masculinity. So is that all ego, or is that where does that defensiveness come from? Why can it never seem like people take in the information and consider it? But I know women do. I know multiple women who heard red pill and said, I started to believe it. So some women are searching and taking that information and almost harm themselves. But sometimes it's like, no, I'll never listen to it, no matter how honest it is. So I'm trying to I honestly don't know. I'm looking for an answer. Why do we do that? Why do you think we do that?
I think it's the shadow self because honestly, I'm not. You can comment on my parenting. I welcome commentary, like from people who like my kids. Like my husband has commented on, like before when I was working like a job and stuff, and I would get into dragon lady mode because I would just be like really tired from working 3 12s in a row or something, and I would just be like no patience, like yelling, and he'd be like, "Hey, like chill, you tripping, like you yelling a lot," and like I could hear that. Or my daughter, like my oldest daughter, I often check in with her and ask her, comments about it. We actually just watched a video today, like making fun of parents, like how you forget to wash dishes and parents go into like a whole lecture about how you don't have no drive, Like we watched that video together today and just like laughed about it. And she was like, yeah, that's how y'all be, And then it kind of gave us room. She was like that one time, So I actually, welcome commentary on my parenting as a way to keep me grounded, because I don't think a lot of people like. I think it's shadow. I just think people don't really want to, like Mezzo was saying, like some women know they struggling to keep it together. They crying at night. They in these safe spaces talking about it. But if somebody who's not deemed a safe person on the outside were to say something, they would probably like go off about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I see that a lot. And I'm just talking about the women in parenting because I know this is a thing,
Yeah. And I don't think it stops there. I think it's a human behavior. Shout out to Mr. He Said popping through. Definitely, man. Appreciate you for popping through. And I don't think it's necessarily ego either, Wally, but there is a defensiveness. Because I think this is the duality that I was talking about earlier. It's not just in mothers. I see it in all people because I'll try to use myself, but I don't do this specific thing. But like Lizzo, like she's a big person and they push body positivity, like, oh yeah, I love being me, blah blah blah. But then you'll also see like the negative side where it's actually still affecting where she's not as happy. You know what I'm saying? So I think there is a duality in people where we talk ourselves into embracing our negative aspects, but we still are hurt by it and the outcomes that come from it.
So you haven't integrated it. You haven't really integrated it so that you can mitigate it and like really have a realistic viewpoint of it. You just like, it's there, but it's still fragmented. It's like this other part of you that you don't have a handle on a lot of times. That's why I said, I know you said drop, but I'm speaking on the motherhood part because I'm a mother. And like, I've been a trash mother at one point. I feel like early in my oldest daughter life, when I was in my early 20s, I was out here being trash. I mean, so it's fine, but like, I just see that like people, I think it's just like they know, inside. So why would somebody commented on it or offered a different way? You know how it just, you going off, but you secretly know down you're not doing everything you can for your kids. So like, why? I feel like it's like a denial, like you said, defense mechanism, like that whole thing.
Nah, that makes sense. As we're talking through it, it's making sense because some of the stuff we do that like when I was talking about celebrating gains, that's actually just an affirmation. You're trying to build yourself up to overcome that dark night of the soul you're gonna have later when you're like,
or when that shit start coming out when they're like older and they can talk back to you and be like, oh, like it's real when they little. Oh yeah, it's everybody. We all doing amazing under the age of 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that teenage behavior come out, you'll see parents be like, I don't know what happened to them. They just they started talking, telling you about yourself. That's what happened to them.
Yep. That's exactly it. Because they can see it. They were embodying it the entire time, but it hadn't manifested in their behaviors yet. It hadn't materialized in them because they've been masking it. We cover up our dark sides until we see it manifest in our kids.
And they be like, I don't know why you like this. Have you met yourself? He said, what's trash behavior? I mean, I was in my early 20s. I had my oldest child when I was like 21, and I just hadn't really lived a lot of life. So I was trying to be I think I've always tried to do my best by her, but I'm also at a place by realizing that I had my own selfish desires that were driving me at the same time. And I do understand the reality that once you have a child, your selfish desires and theirs can often conflict with each other. And I think in my early 20s, I was just more worried about myself. Everything I did even though my brain was like, this is the best for y'all. What's good for you was good for her. You know, that bullshit. Like, I was more leaning into that ideology. So yes, while at the time I was just like, this is good. She suffered through some things. Like me going to college, right? I got my nursing degree when she was like, I started nursing college when she was 1. So like, I have to be realistic that like, I was not able to be present for her because I was getting a degree in nursing. So I had to offload some of my responsibilities to my mom. Thank goodness my mom was there to help me, right? But my daughter didn't have that face-to-face interaction with me all of that time. And then when she was like 2 or 3, I think I broke up with her dad. So like, then there was that fragment. And then when I got my first nursing job, we moved across country away from her father for a good job opportunity that changed our lives financially. But it also had an emotional effect on her, right? Which was negative. So, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I did some things that, would I say I would do some of them again? Maybe not. But like, I'm also realistic to realize that they had some of those things had a negative effect on her. You know, I mean, I don't beat myself up about it, but it's just, you know, it's gonna come out later. Yeah, it's gonna come out. If she start dragging me in a couple years, I'd be like, oh, okay. You know?
It's hard. Like, even on, like, I know that it's gonna be harder for kids because there's such an emotional connection there. But I think even that within mates, I think that's what a lot of us repel or reject. It's like when somebody's showing us, maybe that's part of the reason that we have so much trouble dating, is because somebody else is rejecting the piece of us that we're not willing to acknowledge. Like, that's what a lot of, maybe that's what a lot of this gender war thing is too. Yeah. Like, people are reflecting back to us our worst parts, and we're like, ugh. That's what you think of me? Yeah, I don't like it. It's when we get defensive as opposed to like, oh, maybe I should do something about that.
Can I, like, I'm not trying to start, but that's kind of what I was getting at yesterday. Like, when we had the aggressive thing, I wasn't really trying to say don't be that way. To me, I was just saying, like, I just find it an interesting thing that y'all say that's the most forefront thing that you're repressing on a consistent basis. And it was like, well, that's what they're. And then, like, how I interpret the word aggressive and what that means, I'm just like, that's kind of interesting, a little concerning to me, but like interesting. Exactly. And then y'all were just like, I don't like how that sounds when you say what you're saying, and I'm just like, well, I'm just saying, like, that's what I saw yesterday. And AR said our single mothers trash. No, not all single mothers are trash. Like, not all single mothers are trash. Because you can realize the position you're in as a single mother truly, and not overcompensate or gas yourself up to really be like, I'm doing it all. Like, you can mitigate, you know, what you're lacking. Like, my mom, bomb ass single mother. Like, she started a home daycare, like, because she had us and she was like, I want to be home with my kids. So she had an in-home daycare for like 30 years. And like, once we all became adults, she retired. So like, that was her way of making sure she could be present in the home for us, take care of us. And she was always there. Like, she was always present. And she had a degree in child psychology. So she's God tier. But like, she mitigated it. She knew she was already lacking. So she mitigated it. She didn't go outside the home to work because she knew that, like, she didn't want the outcomes that she felt would happen from that.
I don't even trip on the trash thing, because my thing, I could always fall back onto the biblical. Our righteousness is as a filthy rag. So even the best of us is trash. Right. So everybody's trash. So when everybody's trash, like, singling out single mothers really is like, it's like nothing. I mean, because that means single fathers is trash too. I mean, we're all trash, born trash. So I can live with that. Everybody's some trash. But if you mean something specific, that means all single parents will be trash. And then which single parents are you talking about? What about the ones that are widows or the men who their wives have died? If they're single, not because of their poor choices, but because of circumstances,
I mean, are they still trash? I guess to him.
I mean, so we got to refine that.
Yeah, I think it's realistic. Like, I just want people to be more or less realistic. You know, I think people just need to be more realistic about where you actually are. Like, as a single mother of kids, like, you know, and I think, like I said, like Mezzo was saying, most moms know the reality of the situation, but it's like this constant, like, trying to gas, you know, you don't have to do all that. Like, that's the reality of your situation. Do the best you can with what you can, but also realize that, like, it's probably going to have some negative side effects, even if you're doing the best you can. Like,
I think, though, I know I go a lot of different places. I think, though, some level of delusion is necessary to not give in to the pressures of life. Like, I think there is it's necessary also to pump yourself up over, because you're going to also over criticize yourself.
If you're actually absolutely doing the best you can, that should be like solace. Like, I'm doing the best I can. I know, but I still realize I've got some blind spots. So then if you see the manifestation of those later, just be ready to tackle them as you see, if you see the the stuff coming out, then just don't be surprised. Don't like gaslight, just kind of be aware that there's blind spots you have. So if you see things coming out in your kids later, just be open to realizing it. Like, it could have just been a blind spot, and then be able to, and that keeps you at being able to move forward. Like, just keep walking forward with the situation you're in currently. So, like,
being open and accepting, and like I say, FUGGing yourself, forgive, understand, and give grace to yourself. That's the optimal way to move through life. But I know a lot of people haven't gotten that type of instruction. So I'm saying, I'm thinking for them, I think they probably have to waffle between delusion and critique, and then they delusion and critique just to find that middle ground. So I'm thinking that's how most people probably operate. They pump themselves up for that withdrawal they're going to have later when they look at themselves in the mirror or go home alone, or what I'm saying? Like, we know the negative and we're our own worst critic. So we got to overcompensate in like bravado or something just to hit a balance, in our daily chemical release. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So when the perfect situation, you really want to be more balanced, where you're not having these wild swings into overinflated sense of self and complete self-loathing. Like, you would want to find a middle ground where you're not having those swings at all. You're just like in a realistic space where you can make progress.
Yeah, that's what's up. But now, listen, I am getting ready to head out. When is your next stream? Tomorrow, right? Anime Life Wife Advice?
I was gonna game today. I got a new game, so I might play it, but I'm in hypochondriac mode. So first I'm gonna go terrify myself by taking my vital signs and probably think I need to go to the hospital. But then I'm probably gonna play a game, and then tomorrow I have Life Advice with Shy Cutie.
Okay.
So we don't know what we're talking about yet. Maybe we'll talk about this. Maybe we'll talk about mothers like not being critical or not taking criticism. Maybe we'll talk about that.
Critical mother and the devouring mother.
Ooh, yeah, that's some good archetypes right there. The devouring mother. Ooh, sheesh.
Yeah.
we might talk about it.
But that'll be cool. I'm getting ready to wrap it up, Bree. But I thank you for coming. Any last thing you want to say to the folks?
I was gonna say men are trash, but I'm not gonna say that. Y'all aggressive. Okay, y'all are emotionally violent. But that's it. Do your shadow work. Goodbye.
Thank you, Rick. Now that we got rid of the toxicity, Toxic Tuesday is clear. We're out of the toxicity. No, I'm just joking. Nah, Bree is super cool. Love having her up. But thank you all for coming over to the YouTube channel. The Twitch stream got ended early, but I ended it early because there was some kind of weird thing going on. That was really peculiar. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on with that right now. So I will be back on Twitch tomorrow at noon, provided my account doesn't get locked up because of that weird follow raid. No idea what happened. No clue what happened. So that's why I was over here, to continue the conversation. And I'll be back on Twitch, Twitch willing. I'll be back on Twitch tomorrow at 12 noon. Tomorrow is Wednesday. And we're going to be doing a talk. Me and the Lord Ted from the STG gang. Me and the Lord Ted tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We'll be again back on Twitch willing. We'll be talking about masculinity and how we saw it and express it and all that weird stuff. So thank you all for being over here. I don't know, again, if my Twitch is down, I'll probably be back over here on YouTube because I'll have nowhere else to go until I create a new page. So I'll get all that straightened out. So again, look for Twitch. YouTube is the fallback. But I thank all of y'all for being here, participating in the chat. Everybody that came through, Solutions for Him. That name did change. It's not Him versus Her Solutions anymore. Okay, cool. Solutions for Him. You got it. Twitch. So he said, Wally, Dorian, Enya, everybody that passed through, Danique, all of y'all, man. I appreciate the love, appreciate the lookout. Quantum, Yella came through. Sim Simma, yeah, for sure. I definitely got to show some love to Sim Simma, man, definitely. But all of y'all, I am going to go ahead and end it off with the theme song, which I still have not done the visuals to. I said I was going to do that like a month ago, and I still haven't. I'm a slacktivist. I'm a flaneur. You need to go back and check out Kawaii Bree 123's YouTube channel. Look for the Ism Show. I'm a flaneur. You can look that up if you want. FLANEUR. I'm a loafer. It's sad, y'all. But let me hit this. Let me hit this video real quick. I shrunk the category so I can find stuff. But I'll see y'all next time.
It's been a one, and I need someone.